Hi, I'm Roland Winbeckler, and this is cake decorating at CakeSuppliesPlus.com. Today we're going to talk about the airbrush for cake decorating, which one is best, and some of the technical aspects of the airbrush. I know it's a little bit of a dry subject, but bear with us and you might learn something very useful, and perhaps help you to choose the airbrush that is right for you. Okay, there are 4 things you want to know about airbrushes. There's a double action, a single action, a non-bleeder, and a bleeder. Now the double action is virtually always a non-bleeder airbrush. Now a single action can be either a bleeder or a non-bleeder variety. And this is a variable single action. The variable single action is the one that is almost always used in cake decorating. And the term bleeder refers to the air bleeding through the airbrush. So the bleeder variety airbrush, well, the air will bleed through constantly. The non-bleeder, the air stops at the airbrush. It won't start until you actually depress the trigger control, which activates the air valve. The double action refers to pushing down for air and pulling back for color. With this single action airbrush for cake decorating, it is a single action variable. It's almost never just a single action. A true single action in the classic sense is simply a push button. It just goes down and it sprays whatever it's set for. It's just going to spray that amount of color. This is a single action. If you put them side by side, the single action, double action, you push down, now you have air. This one already has air, so you don't have to push down. You simply pull back, that'll give you color. Pull back, that'll give you color. So pretty much 6 of one, half a dozen of another. However, this one, actually the single action, might be possibly a little easier to use because you only have to worry about the back and forth motion. You don't have to worry about keeping the air control on. One of the biggest misunderstandings with airbrushing, as it has to do with cake decorating, is that you need a double action airbrush to do quality detail work. Now that's just simply not true. You can do very nice work with a single action airbrush, and I'm going to illustrate that either in this video or the next one. However, it is understandable why some people would think that, because I've actually seen cake decorating instructors claim that a single action is good only for fogging, general fogging an area, or spraying on a stencil, and certainly no detail work, very much as the spray can would be. However, that's just silly. You can get very good detail with a single action airbrush. And when I say single action, again, I'm referring to the single action for cake decorating, which is a variable single action. It can be confusing with all of the choices we have. We have a double action. This one is actually a double action or a single action, and it has an adjustment. Comes with a lot of accessories, different nozzles and color cups. This is a very high quality double action. These are single action airbrushes here. These will bleed the air through all the time. The single action, the air bleeds through. The double action, the air stops at the airbrush. And that, of course, requires a compressor that either stops or bleeds off the excess air. These, the compressor keeps going, but the compressors for these are intended to go constantly. So these usually run off of a small compressor, and it offers the exact right amount of pressure to power these airbrushes to their optimum performance. So I want to kind of go over a couple of the different, maybe 2 or 3 of the different models that are available to us for cake decorating. This is a pretty nice one, actually. It's a double action. Of course, you're going to have to push down and then pull back for the air. It has a large color cup with a lid, so that's nice. It's a gravity feed. It's really not a bad airbrush. Comes with a compressor that has a pressure adjustment. You can adjust the amount of air pressure you want. It has a moisture trap. It also has an automatic off switch. Again, all non-bleeder style airbrushes have to have an automatic off switch, and that has that. Or an internal pressure release valve. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on so you can hear how it sounds. I'll talk a little bit while it's running so you can see that it's, you can hear it, but it's not terribly loud. Here's another airbrush I like a lot. This one is a double action or single action. It can be adjusted to either way, so it's versatile. It comes with lots of different nozzles. Incidentally, most of the airbrushes come with a universal nozzle that is about 0.04 millimeter. This has a variety of nozzles. I usually use the general purpose nozzle, which is a 0.04. So that's a good airbrush. Comes with a nice case too. This one, it has the same type of compressor as the last one we looked at. Pressure gauge, moisture trap. I'll turn it on. It's very similar in sound, maybe a little quieter actually, this one. And it also has the automatic stop switch. Or an internal pressure release valve. And I actually wrote a book on airbrushing from A to Z. Everything you need to learn and do and practice and everything, and up to portraits and various types of things, all kinds of things that you could do with the airbrush. And I used this airbrush when I wrote that book. And so it is a good airbrush. Okay, here are 3 more I'd like to show you. These are all gravity feed airbrushes, single action. And again, by single action, I mean variable single action. And this one in the middle is endorsed by Duff. It will cost a little more than similar, but you get a great picture of Duff. These are all lightweight, easy to transport, and there are others that are virtually identical to these, marketed by Pegasus as well as other companies. I'm going to turn these on so you can see how they sound. So it's not too loud. They're very similar. This one's a little quieter, even though it's the same thing. These also have 3 speeds. If you can slow down the air pressure. And this airbrush by Pegasus is a very nice one. I like the feel of this airbrush. It's got a smooth action. It also comes with a quick disconnect, which is a nice feature. And it has a moisture trap. Overall, I like the feel of this one. And the compressor, though it's still small, light, and very portable, is advertised to be a little bit stronger and a little bit higher quality than the typical small type compressors. I know many people believe that these small airbrushes are good for just general spraying and light touch-up and things, and just to put in your bag to take along for emergencies only. But always have a bigger airbrush back at the shop. Well, I'm going to illustrate that may not really be true. So join us in our next video, and we're going to put a couple of these smaller airbrushes through their paces. We'll see if they're worthy of being your primary airbrush. This is Roland Woodbeckler at CakeSuppliesPlus.com.